Hello and welcome to the channel. Here we talk about my experiences during lockup for educational use. I do not condone or glorify the behaviors in my stories. I spent 2 years in lockup at CFCF, and now that I'm out, I want to tell you guys about it. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the return of a scrapist, okay? And for context, me and this scrapist got into an altercation earlier while he was my cellie. And if you want to know how that went, you can go watch my third fight in jail video, okay? Because that will detail it pretty well. But if you don't feel like watching that video and you just want to watch this one, long story short, I got into a fight with a scrapist. All right, I was in a multi-cell, so it was me, him, and two other people living inside of a mop closet with a sink and a toilet in there. All right, and two bunk beds. All right, long story short, I guess they must not have been gelling with me, and they got the guard to try to set me up essentially. But that's neither here nor there. All right, after I got out of that multi-cell, all right, pretty much things were tense with me in that multi for a while, for I would say a good 2 weeks before everybody had to move pods again. And that specific scrapist, I guess he was scared or whatever, and he didn't want to go to a new pod, so he wanted to stay back on B side. Okay, he stayed on B pod, if that makes sense. All right, everybody else was, aside from a select few, we're moving over to A side. Okay, over to A pod. All right, now everything's going well, right? I'm back in my old cell, right? And I got a new cellie now, right? After a little bit of things, are happening, right? On the door one day, I hear, yo, somebody was trying to get my attention, right? One of my old cellies who was in there with me, right? He was like, yo, CJ, I'm just gonna say yo, CJ, trying to get my attention. I'm like, yo, who calling me, yo? And he like, yo, it's the multi-cell, bro. Yo, tell me how, right? We had found one of that old scrapist bull's notes. And long story short, y'all, he was writing to another person whose name began with C. You get what I'm saying? And there's not that many niggas on the pod with a C name. You see what I'm saying? And because I was living in the cell with that scrapist, the other two people thought that he was writing that note to me, but we had just fought, so it didn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? So it had came out, right, that was a note to somebody else in a different jail because he had gotten transferred over to CFCF. All right, now this is where things get a little bit wicked. All right, it was yelling like, yo CJ, what's with all this homosexual stuff written on this note from that bull that you just fought? Whoa, what's going on here? And then he was yelling that on the door because we was on lockdown. Okay, now I was getting heated because I was like, yo, what are y'all talking about? Stop playing with me. I don't rock that way. What are y'all talking about? I'm married. What are y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't rock that way. You feel me? I was offended. You feel me? And it was like, yo, we not trying to say nothing. We just like, yo, what's with this note? And I'm like, okay, well, fine. Let me read it then. And when I came out to shower during that lockdown period, right, I went over to their cell and I went and I read the note a little bit, right? Because I just wanted to verify that it wasn't me, right? Their whole thing was that it was written to someone with my name, and there wasn't many people with my name, my first name, mind you, right? And I'm like, whoa, 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 that's not me. We just fought. You know what I'm saying? And they was like, yeah, we thought the same thing. It didn't make sense. See what I'm saying? But anyway, side note, back to the note real quick regarding on what it was talking about, right? Essentially, like I said, it had my name on it, right? But it was written as someone else. You see what I'm saying? Okay, it was essentially talking about giving and receiving. Okay. And I took one look at it and I just started cracking up, pretty much. Okay, and that's pretty much that about that. All right, I didn't get a full good read on the actual note. All right, I just saw the key points. We had ended up coming to an agreement that it must have been to a different guy with my name, of course, right, from the other jail that he transferred from, because he got poked up really bad because he was a scrapist, okay? And now he was at our jail, okay? So anyway, we essentially squashed that situation. You see what I'm saying? It made no sense, right? Now, some time passed. People kept on getting jumped because we was on a lockdown, right? People kept getting on jumped. We was on lockdown for a while, okay? Now, when we were just coming off lockdown, right, apparently the scrapist bull came back over to our pod, right? Or he was coming over and people were announcing him to me. I was playing spades at the time, right? And people was like, oh, yo CJ, round two. And I'm like, oh, all right, here we go again, right? But I was just trying to keep my cool, play spades, right? The bull come back on the pod, right? And I don't even look his way for real, after a little bit. Then he comes over a little bit, walks right on past, right? Me and him both looking at each other, right? We walk right on past me from me playing spades, and he goes down to the other day room area, right? He goes and talks to one of my old multi-cell cellies, right? Who was at the time on his side, right? He goes to talk to him, ask about a note, right? Ask about the note. The scrapist bull, right, gets upset and he comes up to me while I'm playing spades and he's like, yo, what have you been saying about me? Yada yada yada, what's going on? Yada yada yada. I'm like, bro, whatever you wrote in your note is up to you. Mind you, I'm using a whole lot of expletives, right? And I'm censoring myself for YouTube. I'm trying at least. But anyway, I'm like, yo, whatever you wrote on that note is up to you, bro. For real, censored version, right? Expletives. Get it out my face, right? Now, at that moment, right, he hits me, right? Which is something that I long for, right? And he knows that because we already fought. So he hit me, right? I eat the punch, right? And as soon as I move in to attack him back, everybody on the pod jumps in between us. And I swear to God. And they only did that because we just came off lockdown. Because people kept on getting jumped back to back. And it pissed me off, but I understood. And I wanted to stay out and call my folks. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to shower and I wanted to play ball and not be locked in my cell for an extended period of time for no reason. Did you see what I'm saying? So anyway, right? Everybody jumps between us. I'm absolutely livid. So me and the bull are literally screaming at each other, right? I'm screaming out, yo, you are a scrapist. You are a scrapist. What are you writing other men weird stuff in a note for, bro? Why don't you just go do that stuff, bro? You're weird. You're a weirdo. You're disgusting. You're here for touching people. Like, you're weird. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up spitting near me. It didn't get on me, but it spat near me, and that just pissed me off a whole lot more. You see what I'm saying? I go at him again, and everybody jumps between us again. You see what I'm saying? Now, mind you, like I said, I understand why they did that, but like, I wasn't trying to let that slide. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying my best to go back to Splades and just, you know what I'm saying, just try to get it over with off camera. You see what I'm saying? And one of my old slick friends, right, he come up to me and he's like, yo CJ, the mop closet open, right? And what he means by that is there's no cameras in the mop closet. If you want to go in the mop closet and go squash bull real quick, then go in the mop closet and squash him real quick. And I'm like, all right, cool. Say no more. You see what I'm saying? So I go all the way down to the mop closet, right? And as I'm passing him, the scrapist bull, I literally make eye contact with him, and I nudge my head toward the mop closet. You see what I'm saying? Signaling, hey, let's go fight in the mop closet. See what I'm saying? So I go there, and there's all this cleaning supplies inside the closet. So I'm not trying to stumble. So I clean it out so that there's room for me to absolutely obliterate this dude in there. See what I'm saying? But I clean it out real well. I'm waiting for him to come to the door so we can come fight. The same slick friend who told me that the mop closet was open came to the door, and I almost punched him because honestly, the first face that I expected to see was supposed to be the scrapist guy, right? He gonna tell me that the scrapists don't want to fight no more. Essentially, he became a little boy. He's trying to be word out of fighting me. You get what I'm saying? And it makes a whole lot more sense if you watched my third jail fight video, okay? But I'm absolutely livid leaving that mop closet because I'm fully expecting to punch on this piece of human filth. When I left the mop closet, I tried my best to like make eye contact with him. You get what I'm saying? I was like breaking him like real hard, and he was trying his best to not make eye contact with me. And when he did, he tried to stare me down for a little bit, but then he dropped his gaze. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, what is going on, right? So me just trying to just drop it and dead it, I just went right back to playing spades like it was nothing. And everybody was like, yo, CJ, that should have knocked you out. Yo, CJ, thanks for taking one for the team. Good looking, bro. Yo, CJ, you got an iron chin, right? And everybody really respected me for it, right? Now, mind you, Was my pride hurt a little bit? Only a little bit, right? But let's talk about his punishment, right? Now, at this point, he really wanted to get off the pod because he shown himself a real little boy. You get what I'm saying? A real B word, a real little boy, right? Now, he packs up all his stuff, right? Trying to move off the pod again, right? And he put all his stuff right in front of the pod glass window, right? So you could see the other pods and the command center with the intercoms, right? Because he really wanted to leave. Nobody moved him for like a week. During that week, he packed up all of his stuff and he moved it to the same 3 spots, trying to get people attention so he can move. And out of the, let's just say 6 to 7 phone lines, nobody let him on the phone, right? And one of my friends, right? He got him to apologize to me, right? And how that apology ended up, right? It was the day that he was about to leave. I was playing casino with one of the bros, right? And he gonna come up to me all aggressive, trying to say something, yo, let me holler at you real quick. But he got real close. Like I could literally smell the penis on his breath. You see what I'm saying? So I literally put my hand on his chest. I'm like, first off, back up, right? He gonna look down at my hand, and I was literally begging him to do something. That's the whole reason I put my hand on his chest. You see what I'm saying? But he gonna look down at the hand on his chest. He gonna nod his head one time, and then he took like a step and a half back, right? And then he was like, yeah, I was wrong. I shouldn't have punched you. That was weird, and I apologize for that. And I'm not gonna lie, I was still very bitter about it. And if I ever see him on the streets, I'ma smack the piss out of him. All right. But essentially I was like, all right, get on out my face, bro. And that was essentially that. Now, when he had came up in my face, everybody had assumed that I was just gonna pop off again. You see what I'm saying? But it was like a week since that whole altercation happened. And again, I wasn't trying to get locked down again, because like I said, people kept on getting jumped back to back, like at least 3-4 times. All right. So I was like, whatever. No apology accepted. None of that type stuff. If I see him on the streets, I'm gonna smack the mess out of him. All right. But that's neither here nor there. That's the story. And then that weirdo left the pod, right? It was really funny because people really started clowning him, right? But anyway, if you guys like this video, if you guys like this content, please give me a like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.